Good evening, televiewers. You're welcome to today's edition of Prime Hour on My Media Prime. As usual, we're going to be talking about relationship and marriage. We this day are talking on a phenomenon that is prevailing. I don't know whether it is something that has been noticed by just some persons, but if you were to go through most of our quarters today in the villages and in towns, you discover that most of those living in most compounds are the living mothers. Most of the fathers are gone. So we are looking at this scenario. What is happening? That most married men are living before their wives. Is it natural that the man should die before the woman, or there are some factors that could be contributing to the early departure of our fathers before our mothers? We're discussing this with panelists who are there already. Apostle AMBE Valentine NGWA is our consultant. Good evening, welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Good evening, Cameroonians and viewers of Prime Hour. It's another Tuesday again. We're talking about relationships. We give God thanks for the privilege to be here, and the strength is granted us and the wisdom to communicate sound information to our audience. For those of you who are watching, stay glued to your screen, and God bless you.
We also are in the company of Apostle ALFRED Isinge. We're glad to have you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Leo. We are honored to meet the great people out there again today, and I want to greet my fellow panelists who are here this evening. We're going to do justice to this topic. Okay.
We're also in the company of Apostle LEFOR Divine. Call him the Love Doctor. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Good evening, fellow panelists, and good evening, fellow viewers of My Major Prime. It's always an honor to serve you. It's always a privilege to be here, and today we're going to be receiving wisdom, knowledge, understanding on a very vital topic, and we believe it's going to be another beautiful session. Thank you.
Okay. We also are in the company of Mme HENRIETTA. Good evening, welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Good evening, dear viewers. It's always a privilege to be here to talk about very sensitive issues concerning our lives and marriage. Stay tuned as we learn together. Thank you.
We are also going to be having contributions from Mme ASANJI YVETTE, Bamenda-based expert and counselor on issues of relationship and marriage. Her office is situated at the Commercial Avenue, opposite NFC Bank. So if you have issues with your wife or husband in Bamenda, you can contact her. I'll start with you, Apostle AMBE Valentine NGWA. Maybe some persons assume that men go before the wives, or is it a reality? Have you lived it? Have you observed it? And can you confirm that is the truth?
It's not an assumption, it's not a fiction, it's not a myth, it's a reality. Statistics has proven. Even the world's population will tell you how many women are on earth. It automatically tells you how many men are dying. The earth is 7.2 billion persons. We have 5.2 billion women, and we have just 2 billion men. That tells you that something is wrong with the number of men as far as the earth population is concerned. And then getting now into the nitty-gritty of the matter, you understand the reason why most men die early in marriage. Most men die in relationships. Most men die before even their time. I wouldn't want to put the blame on women. I want to put the blame on nature. Nature has placed a lot of demand on men, and I'm going to be talking on two major factors. The riskiest jobs on earth are carried out by men. For instance, at the war front, the number of men that die can be compared to that of women. On the electric pole, the men that are shocked by current can be compared by women. In the mines, the ones that mines collapse on them, the number of men that die cannot be compared to women. On the other hand, on the steerings of vehicles, the number of men that die through accidents can be compared to women. So if you look at it critically, the man has been created to fend for the family. And sometimes they become too desperate to take care for the woman and the children that they go to extra miles to do anything possible to make sure the family is catered for. And that's the reason why, if you look at the Anglophone crisis happening right now in Cameroon, we have an array of deaths. And if you go to record it, most of the women women who are left behind have lost their husbands. You know what? You cannot compare it to the women who have died as compared to the men who have died. So one of the major factors that causes men to die is because so much is placed upon them, and the riskiest jobs on earth are on the shoulders of men. That's the first reason. Also, the stress that comes from relationships. Many people have committed suicide in relationship because of what they are going through. Not every woman will say it's bad, but if you look at it critically, even from a biblical point of view, when Herod was to kill every child below 2 years, it was a male that he killed. When Pharaoh was to kill children, it was the male that he killed from 2 years downward. When Israel fought against the Benjamites, the Bible says the men were annihilated. The women were sent to go and intermeddle with other persons. And then in the scripture it says when a man gets married to a new wife, he shouldn't go to war. That tells you that it was men that went to war. So from a biblical point of view and from present day statistics, men are on the danger spots. When accidents occur on the road, mines collapse, electric shocks. I saw a video of 2 men who were caught up on an electric pole yesterday. It was all men. You hardly see women. Not that women don't do risky jobs, but the truth is you find that in the measure or the rule is women that do the most complicated jobs. If you go to the market on tables where they are selling tomatoes and jangsa and dried fish, you see women there. There you don't have much risk. You go to the kitchens, you will see women cooking food there. There's not much risk. But if you go to other places, you will see a lot of men are facing the jobs that take away human lives every day because of the responsibility of the family. It is part of the curse in Genesis that man shall toil and sweat before he eats. And the scripture says any man that does not provide for his own house is less than an infidel. In most, there are cases where women also provide, but we are talking about the rule and the exception. So the women case providing is an exception, but the rule is that most men are at the most dangerous job, war front, and anything risky you can think of. Okay. That's the reason why most men are.
Yes, Apostle, to you validate what Apostle is saying?
Quite true. We are looking at the issue in marriage where men don't live long because of certain issues. He has cited a lot of things that will make men to die. But I want us to look at the emotional, psychological, and sometimes physical problems or tensions that kill a lot of men in marriages. You know, if you want to talk about the heartbreaks, the hurts, the cheatings that are going on, especially now, you will see that a lot of men are the victims. People will not want to accept this, but men are mostly the victims now in marriages and relationships. Men are the ones that are hurt seriously in relationships. If you want to talk about high blood pressure, you want to talk about some kind of attacks, cardiac arrest and all the like, most men are the people suffering from that because of the pressure and the tension women put them through. Some of them got married to women only to discover that they are not who they thought they got married to. A lot of them have been put into a situation where somebody will just sit like that and hold their chest like that, and before you discover they die because of what? The emotional tension and torture that they go through from women who are, they have extra appetite for the life that they live in. Some of them want to get big things and all they could do is to put pressure on their husbands. Some of them go out and a man talks to them, and when they come back they turn against their husband. Some of the women will see what the neighbors are doing. Maybe the man is doing to the wife. She comes back home and then decides not to talk to the man, and before you discover a lot of things. Slow deaths in our homes today. People don't die from violence or those kind of things. They die because of heart attack and some kind of heartbreaks because of women who could not allow them live a successful life. Before you married him, you say, I'm going to bear him at whatever condition we find ourselves in. I'm going to tolerate it, only because you wanted to get his name and you wanted to get the name that you're married. But now that you're married, you give him so much pressure. Women give a lot of pressures these last days, I'm telling you. Out of all the work, if you go out there like Apostle AMBE was citing, you see the kind of way that men are working so hard only to provide for their women. but only to come back home and discover that the woman is interested in the neighbor who may not even have up to the husband. Interested in the neighbor who may not even reach the standard or the level of the husband. But because of one thing that she gets from the man out there, she decides to put the husband at home under tension. So a lot of people don't die out of accidents and so kind of maybe a mind falls on somebody or those kind of things. In our days, mostly like those who suffer from cardiac arrest, heart attack, all those kind of things. Women, you give somebody, like one of my friends told me something that a friend sent TV sets from US so that he could sell them and then gather money and then send it back to him, only for him to go and discover that the woman has sold the money, sold the TV screens, and then use the money for whatever he doesn't know, only for him to ask the woman cannot give. He had a cardiac arrest, and he was rushed to the hospital because he didn't know how to raise that kind of money. $25 million, $25,000. How do you raise that kind of money to be able to give your friends? Because some women are really excess in their spendings. So
why do men die of heart attack? Because of the excesses of the women, and when we know that us the men also give them serious problems, why don't the women also die? Because
we are looking at this issue where the men have already stressed themselves, especially some of them have taken loans and borrow from banks and other things, only for them to get into a business or engage into a business, knowing that they're going to raise some money to be able to pay back to those banks or to those Njagi groups or to those meeting houses, only to discover that the woman has done that. Men hardly get to the stage of touching a woman's thing. Men hardly go to the point. If a man knows that this thing, my wife has gone to do this thing, borrowed money from the bank, all those kind of things, they hardly go to touch it, but the women were always there.
So men even beat to collect.
Just very few. We don't really see men who can go to such.
Okay, let's get the first reaction from Bermuda for Mme ASANJI.
My apostles, good evening, Apostle AMBE. I salute you. Apostle LEFOR Divine, Apostle ALFRED, greetings, and greetings to my fellow woman, Mme HENRIETTA, and greetings to our viewers this evening. Good evening, everybody. We are looking at why men die early. And a survey revealed that, on average, women have a longer lifespan than men. In the US, it's kind of 5 years difference, and worldwide, it's kind of 7 years difference. So you see, women live more longer than men. But apart from this, we have a lot of reasons why men do die early. And one of them is that men do a lot of dangerous jobs. The most riskiest jobs in life, is done by men. When you look at jobs like mining, see how dangerous it is. While you can be there, digging, the ground can collapse on you, the earth can collapse on you, and you're buried. You have other jobs that are also risky, like firefighting, and lots more. So some of these jobs most often are done by men, and so they put their lives so much at risk. The second thing is, men are workaholics. We have women that work, like really work, but most men are workaholics. Sometimes, late at night, a woman is sleeping and even snoring, but the man is up thinking of how he can work more money for the family. So all of these come, to reduce, to affect the men's lifespan. Okay, and then we also have other things like health habits. A lot of men don't take care of their health. They are negligent when it comes to health. And sometimes you see a man eating even very late in the night. When you see women watching their weight, they don't eat even late in the night, or they don't eat anyhow, some kind of things. All these things comes to help you live healthily. It comes to help you live healthily, and it comes to boost your immune system. But when you eat anyhow, sometimes even the dirtiness. Some men are too dirty. You pass beside a man, he's thinking like a pot of beans that has been cooked and abandoned for 2 weeks. And you're asking yourself, how is this man even breathing? So you see, men neglect their health. Some men neglect their health. They don't bathe, they don't take care of their health, they don't eat well.
Men don't take care of their health, but they have damaged us. How can you say we smell like a pot of beans? Chai. Now, she's raising a point, some points that were also raised by Apostle and Valentine NGWA, that most of the jobs done by men, we see them, we are the ones who dig the toilets now. The most difficult and demanding jobs are done. We need more care also because of the dangerous nature of most of the things we do. You see the truck pusher, you push the truck for money tonight, and what you would expect is a corresponding care after doing all of this. But seemingly you do it for months and months, and seemingly nobody cares.
Yeah. I think this is a very sensitive topic, because the truth is, when we heard the reckless women empowerment, I'm talking reckless, especially when people do not understand what that means. When they're trying to talk about equality, trying to talk about a man being equal to a woman and everything, the feminism and everything, it was a great bother. Why it was a bother was because I hear people today, they say, let's teach our men how to cook, let's teach our boys, you know,
how to take care of the home.
How to take care of the home. Let's not be a gender role. Now, somebody put up a post I had to share the other day. Say, I hope every woman saying this will also tell the ladies, will teach the ladies how to open doors for men, how to be able to break firewood, and understand that, because these same people will expect their brothers or their masculine counterparts to handle certain things. Even the Bible calls a woman the weaker sex, whether it's about emotionally or whether it's about physically. We know that very that responsibility to protect and provide to protect and provide has made men to be at risk in relationships. That's the truth. That's the reason why men are the one who protect. In fact, if we go to the military, more than 4/5 of the military is made up of men. Yes, and I've always said this, biologically, biology is not fair, let me put it like that, to women. In the case, I was talking with a manager of a company today. I was consulting with a company just today, and the person was complaining to me. He was telling me I had to have a walking session with some of his staff, and he was telling me that he's having trouble with female workers because they will first come, and because they have this tendency, because according to the policy, you do an internship for 6 months or 1 year, then they will recruit you for permanent work. That these ladies will come and work for like 1 year, then after the 1 year, when they take them now as permanent workers, after 2 months, they come and tell you that they need maternity leave. You know, you have put responsibility on them, and there's nothing you can do. They're taking maternity leave. After that, they have to rush, go and vaccinate every minute. You know, they're taking permission like 4 or 5 times in the month. I want us to come to realize that one of the major issues is almost everything women need or women desire to enjoy, they seek it to come from men. And unfortunately, this puts a lot of pressure and responsibility on men. I told a lady that most of the time people don't know this because men have a different way of showing their, I don't know how I can put it, frustration. Like how we were here, one of the panelists one day here said he got off from his house. We were here when the panelist said he got off from his house one day and walked out of the house and never came back. These things are real. I was in a seminar one time. I was talking to some ladies, and the lady was like, "What happens to a man who does not take care of his children? Whenever you ask money, he's mad." I said, "Okay, Mama, let me ask you a question. How many kids do you have?" She said, "We have 3." I said, "When you had the first one, when you were asking money, did you see the man struggling to take it?" He said, "Yes, he was struggling." I said, "And then you had the second and third." "Okay, no problem. Let's not blame anybody. But now my question is this: you don't know. Sometimes men are even angry at home. We have said it here. Sometimes it's not really necessarily because they are angry, but there's too much pressure. Sometimes there's too much pressure that they don't know how to smile. it's emotional, it's physical, and truly, like you said, this is something, if it's understood, there was supposed to be some extra care that comes from the other side. This, I think, is what we're trying to put and bring that balance, because the truth is, the dangerous jobs, the dangerous works, men risk themselves out there. Sometimes, like in 1 week, I might travel around the nation, like in 3-4 places around the nation. Just the highway is risky and all of that. So this need to provide and protect, which is a role designated to men, has placed a responsibility that has reduced the lifespan of women. If you check even the statistics, the greatest number of people who have heart attacks are men. The number of people who have even in fact, most diseases that you cannot really explain how they die, sometimes you say it just should also collapse, die. Check, it's men, because a lot of times they bottle these things, and sometimes it's so difficult for men to talk because the pride of men does not also allow them. You know, it's not easy. The pride of men does not allow them to openly say these things.
The ladies are watching. Some said they will not be able to watch the program because it was too sensitive for them. But they are saying, they are also speaking their mind. If you are a lady, please speak out your mind. I'm going to read them out. Hello, Mr. Leo. Good evening. Please, I differ to an extent to the point of view of Apostle Isinge, who says men go through emotional torture from women, which causes their death. To my point of view, women are suffering most. The woman go through a lot of pressure from the men-in-laws, especially the mother-in-laws. Why are we not dying? They should guard their hearts as we, the women, do. Madam is writing from Kumba. Yes, but that is a question I also ask. Yes, do you people hold a meeting of wives, and are you concerned that have you also taken note that many more men are dying and you guys are there?
Yeah, Mr. Leo, that's very true. There's no way we can deny the fact. It didn't start today. From time immemorial, it started in the Bible, from the days in Genesis. Men have always died more than women. So being a married man or not married, looking at the generic point of view, biologically proven, if you have to get to specialists, they will tell you that the life expectancy of a woman is higher than that of a man, which means that it's not because you're married that you die before a woman. As a matter of fact, one of the recommendations I've been giving here for men who want to live long is that they should get married. Yeah, of course. That's one of the recommendations I'm going to be giving. It is, and it cannot really be totally that it's a woman's fault. Men are prone to habits. There are so many things we have highlighted here, stemming from health, the fact that they are negligent with their health, they don't take care of their health. Are you saying that the death rate among bachelors is also as high as the married men? It is. Is it higher? It is. Okay. Men generally, it is very high. Because you want to see a man after 50 who is not married, he's more frustrated. The frustration at that age, the isolation, many of them get to depression. They get to depression because of loneliness, because they start regretting their youth and all of that. They don't have people around them. They don't have a wife to give them that comfort. Neither do they have children to give them the comfort. So they have lived their life playing. Because when you don't get married, you play from one woman to the other. At the end of the day, your life becomes that life. You start regretting a lot of things you did in the past. So like I was saying, that's one of the recommendations I'm going to be giving men here. So just to add to the fact that men, one of the things that actually will make a man, will cause men to die earlier than women, I want to look at the habits. We have talked about so many things here, but I want us to look at the habits of men. And secondly, I want us to look at the emotional part of it. Women are more prone to expressing their emotions. When a woman is hurt, she cries. You know, tears naturally, the relief, it is a way it relieves you. When you cry out, when you lost a loved one, you are hard up, you have challenges. You see, women will naturally react by crying. When they pour out these tears, they have a relief. When they talk to somebody, they speak to somebody, they have this relief that comes from inside, and it has a serious impact in your health. But men are most likely to keep it. Maybe because how would people see me crying? Oh, I'm a man, I'm strong, I have to carry it. You know, I have to be the man here. So, yeah, they call it the pride of the man. So once those emotional hurts, those pain, it comes. You lost a loved one, you have an emotional problem, then you hold it right strong in you, it eats you. That's why many men will die from heart attack. Because at the end of the day, before you hear there is a stroke that comes in. Because you've not been able to express your emotions. You've not been able to express what you're feeling. You've not been able to express the pain that comes right deep within you. You have decided to absorb and swallow it. And secondly, I want to talk about habits, the social aspect of it. The habits that men keep, most likely, they are very negligent. As in, you see, they go for more very harmful things like a lot of alcohol. When you want to consider the rate of those who consume excess alcohol, you want to consider the ratio women is to men. Men, it is not even debatable. Men they drink a lot of alcohol. Most men though, cigarette. Those are the kind of things they gradually kill your liver. They kill you from the inside. But those are the things we never know. You see, when a man lives his life on excessive alcohol, smoking excessively, at the end of the day you die. It's not a woman that caused you now. A woman didn't ask you to smoke. It's not a woman that sent you into drinking alcohol. You know, so I think when we are looking at this, in as much as some men in marriage who actually have issues or problems being caused by their wives that will make them to die earlier, it's not actually a woman's fault totally that a married man or an unmarried man would die early. So we should really actually watch out not to throw a blame on on women like that.
Okay, not to blame the women, but Apostle AMBE Valentine, I wanted to ask this question to you. Do men also forget to prepare for their old age? Many some studies have found that most men, after a period of time, they are lonely in the house. Meanwhile, the mother is making rounds to visiting the children, and the dad is there.
Saying that men don't prepare for old age, I wouldn't want to say that. Because sometimes the responsibility and the burdens you bear throughout your life will not even give you the opportunity to prepare for old age.
Okay, you spend your time taking care of the family.
Of course, you are. The word father is a Greek word which means Abba. It means source. It means everyone is sucking from you. You breastfeed from the mother to the children. Because if the mother is going to breastfeed the children, you are the one feeding the mother that breastfeeds the children. So you feed an entire generation. As a matter of fact, the father is the only person in the family whose life is constantly giving out. He doesn't take in. He's constantly giving out. Imagine you have to cater for your wife and the kids. So sometimes to really plan for old age is a bit complicated. Another issue is that when some people, I'll put it like power changes hands. When power changes hands, there's a serious problem. When it comes in a situation where peradventure the man was working and he lost his job, because men die in that particular trend, so many of them. He was the one taking the responsibility of the family, and then suddenly he probably loses his job or something happens. Then the woman now stands the gap. I'm telling you, a man can feed a family for 30 years, you will not hear any noise. The day a woman starts feeding, all radio stations will carry it. And men are so proud to the extent that some information, when it filters into their ears, they cannot contain it anymore. Adam fed Eve for many years, there was no news. The very first time that Eve fed Adam, they went out of treasure. The very first time. So when women take up responsibilities in families, there is 95% guarantee that no matter how humble that woman is, with time, if things don't fall back in place, she will never give that man respect. I'm saying so because in most cases, but there are a few women that no matter how broke the man is, they are comfortable with the man. And for the reason why men also die is that when we talk about infidelity, men cheat, unfaithfulness. Unfaithfulness is one thing that reduces your lifespan because it exposes you to so many sicknesses and diseases. I'm saying this because there is an exception, that is a rule. If you want to do statistics on those who are cheating, most men are the ones who cheat in relationships, and are the ones who bring sicknesses back home in most relationships. Because of this wayward and reckless lifestyle, it causes a lot of men to die young. There is also the battle over men. When a man is exposed to so many women, the women will want to have the man to themselves.
They go and use Kayamata.
Some kind of magical powers also can take away a man's life. When women begin to drag over a man, you become like a piece of bone that two dogs are wrestling over. At the end of the day, the bone must be wounded.
At times 10.
Yes, so that is a problem. Because of the number of women that are on earth, it is difficult for men sometimes to stay with one woman. And because they cannot stay with one woman, they are exposed to so many women. Now, every woman wants a portion of this national cake. And sometimes the dragging here and there causes the men also to die.
He weakens the man to a point that he just drops them.
Yeah, he weakened the trauma, because this one is dragging you here, this one is dragging you here, this one is dragging you here. That thing comes and beclouds your mind and doesn't even give way any means to reason anymore. You are running away from this woman and going to sleep with this one, thinking that you're going to find peace there. There is fire there. You run here and you are going to say there is fire there. Before you realize, there's tension everywhere, and all this pressure, heartbeat, psychological disturbances are the things that equally take men away from this life. So if we look at it critically, I do not want us to put so much blame on the women, because nature itself has placed so much on men. So much on men. We talk about men going through. What of a case where women catch their husband with with another woman in their matrimonial bed? What of the case where women are being guided to go and see their husbands in hotels? What about cases where a man cannot even take care of his family, but he's feeding a girl outside? Those are situations that are everywhere. A man is paying a university girl fee while his own wife is there selling or hawking water somewhere to feed the children. I've seen many cases like that. Men are the outgoing type, so they are too exposed to danger. They are too exposed to danger. And then one bad thing is that if you have been blessed by God and you're opportune to be exposed to finances, you become a prey. That's the reason why I also say that rich men even die faster than poor men, because you become like a target. Yes, you become a target for women. Sometimes the poverty even hides some men. It doesn't expose them. But when you are exposed to finances, you become a target. And then some people also who are exposed to a certain level of stardom, it attracts a lot of things. Some of us who are ministers to some extent, we're facing problems. That's the problem. That's the truth. I'm just being sincere here. And that is exactly what men go through. We cannot automatically throw this blame on women. I can guarantee you, nature itself has given man the opportunity to die quick. It's nature.
There's an opportunity to die quick.
Yes. Nature, the opportunities are lingering everywhere. You will die quick. That's the truth.
Greetings to you all in the studio. To add to what Mme Henrietta has just said, most men do cheat in a relationship and marriage, which reduces lifespan. Emelda is writing from Yaoundé. Good evening to the panelists. The man in black talked of pregnancy and maternity leave. Who gets a woman pregnant? Is it not the men? Many women die during childbirth. I think men are responsible to their early deaths. The women are wounded this evening. Yes. Yes.
Men not preparing their.
Okay. Yes.
I want to come back to the fact that the question.
Because that's the question I asked you.
You asked Apostle that it is believed that some men die quickly.
Some statistics actually, yes.
Because they don't prepare their retirement age. And that is very factual. I want to talk from experience and what I've seen out there. Most especially those in the public service. Mr. Leo, most especially those men in the public service. You want to talk about military men. Most especially, I've worked in the financial sector for more than 10 years. So I know exactly what I'm talking about. When they come for their salary, the next available bar that is very close, you need to see them there a few minutes later. A man will come to the bank takes his salary, takes an overdraft, take additional loan, and then he goes and sit into the bar. Either he plays ballet. Before he gets home, more than half of that money has been used in the bar, in the beer parlor. He has used that money to drink, to have fun with women, and to play games, to entertain himself. And at the end of the day, because he thinks that the next month is coming, he will still have another salary. He keeps counting that, okay, tomorrow I will have another. Tomorrow I will have another. And before you know it, he gets 50, 55, 60, he gets frustrated. Salary stops coming. And maybe the little allowance, pension allowance that is paid him is unable to even take care for his health. And then because he starts suffering from the implication of the things that he used to do in his youth. Because he used that money, instead of taking care of his health, he used that money drinking, he used the money smoking, sleeping around with women. And by the time he gets old, his health is critically damaged. He needs more money to take care of his health now. He needs money for his family. He needs money to build. He needs money to put himself and feed himself. The pressure now comes on him. And that's why you see many of them, they die. So men should learn how to prepare that old age. Prepare your retirement. Don't think there is time. And when we talk of preparing retirement, it's not only about the finances, the constructing houses and all of that. Your health is in itself. If you don't cater for your health, now this body you carry now, it's the same body that will carry you when you get 80. It's the same body that carries and sustains you when you be 90, when you be 70, 50. But men most times live their lives as if that body, they will command the body to work according to the way they want it to work. Not knowing that naturally all the things you take, they have an impact. They have a negative consequence in your system. So eventually I'm going to be saying here that many men who do not prepare their days of retirement will die fast. The pressure becomes too much on them and they cannot take it. And before you know it, they die.
Are you saying that women have that capacity to take to sustain pressure than men?
Women can actually sustain pressure than men. Yes.
Okay.
They can. They have the capacity to sustain pressure. That is the reason why you see.
Let us start praying for grace to know how to master pressure.
Women can sustain.
But I think the message you are passing out there is that any man should start preparing for old age at a very young age. But is that not also an education that has been lacking, Apostle? Hardly have we seen men actually sit down and start thinking about how they'll live when they get to 60, 65, 70, 80.
Yeah, actually in special education, that's one of the most worried part of it, where the aged are the aging. You know, where a lot of people find themselves in some conditions that you may think that it is a disability, while it is not. It's just a psychological disturbance which makes them to behave the way they are behaving. There are some people who have feigned madness. They have just decided to behave as if they are mad, but actually they are not mad, only because they want to avoid disgrace and shame at the old age. A lot of people have done that. You know, like when we talk about the Western world, where we have the old people's home. A lot of people, like in the Western world, they prefer to go to the old people's home, no matter how much money they had or whatever. They just want to go there because they'll see some of their friends that they can be there together, sharing a lot of things. Now, in our society today, a lot of people believe that at old age, they will just go and sit in a joint and begin to play draft or begin to eat kanda, matango, and all the like with their friends, because that's what we have seen. A lot of people believe that my old age I go back for village, and they are not care about that. That's why I tell you that old people who retire without preparing, many of them don't really die in Cameroon. Maybe in Africa they die, but in Cameroon they don't die. They instead get more long life, because the more they go and spend and start talking rubbish and talking some nonsense, talking about this, sometimes they quarrel and argue. By the time he's going back home, he's more lively than the woman that is at home. So that's what we should look at when it comes to the Cameroon kind of old age. A lot of them live long. They live very long because they did not prepare their old age. Those who even prepared it, they had to be spending money from one hospital to the other, kind of a thing, for cancer, for prostate cancer, for this at the end of the day. That's what we have discovered. Now, statistically speaking, I've been in Boya, I've been in Tico, I've been in Limbe, I've been in a lot of places, and what I see in Cameroon is that the old people, especially those who did not prepare for old age, They live long. Sometimes you're even making them to die. They don't die early. Because of they enjoy their lives. They go to buy corn and plum, they eat,
drink their matango.
They don't have time for the house again anymore. It is that woman that is still strong, that is struggling to take care of the house. Now, we should look at this very carefully. The men mostly get married to younger women, and at the old age, the younger women take over and begin to take care of them. That's what happens in Cameroon. The men get married to younger women. You see a man of 40 is getting married to a girl of 22. So you just in the space of 10 years, 20 years, is the woman that is taking care of him. So when we are trying to talk about people not preparing for old age, it makes them to die faster in Cameroon, that statistics may not be right, because men instead depend on women when they get to their old age.
Are you saying that men don't die faster than the women?
Yes, when it comes to preparing for old age, the men live longer. If you have survived not to die at the age of 45, 50, then you will live longer, because at that time the woman will be taking care of you. Because women, I don't know the grace that God has given them. They love their husbands even at old age. That's why you will see a man will marry 4 or 5 women, because at old age the women will take care of him. And that is actually working in the Northwest. It happens a lot, where somebody has 4 or 5 wives, and at old age he just sits him in front of their house, and people are passing and greeting him every day, and he is just tapping grace, because
grace is still dead and he has died.
You understand? So you see that is how. So if we want to judge this thing based on that, we will see that a lot of people live well at their old age, because they got married to younger girls and younger ladies. Now, unfortunately, some of these men die early because they marry younger girls. Now you marry a young girl and the girl is asking you to hit harder. You want to please the girl. You want to please, so you are trying to do, yes, you are trying to do harder before you discover cardiac arrest and some kind of things. So you see, so a lot of these men die faster when they got married to younger girls.
You say the girl says she should do what?
She asking for harder. They will not be there. You will not be there and those kind of things. That's why you see most of our old men, they find themselves in maybe the university nearly, or in the environment where they could see younger girls. Where the men will just lie there, and then the girl will sit on top, and then be giving him a lot of life, so they may live long. But at home, you marry a younger girl, she will just tell you that you are not man enough. This other girl there just wants your money. He does not want your satisfaction. But the married woman at home wants your satisfaction, because she doesn't want to go out and mess up herself. But the young girl knows that after I finish this, I go and look for my young boy. He will satisfy me in one way or the other. He will even spend that money that he took from you, the older man, and spend it for these younger girls. That's why you see some of these men die early, because you take a young girl and marry and bring to the house, and her demands is not what you can offer. She wants some kind of things that you cannot offer. She wants the latest things that are in the market and you cannot offer. She wants the kind of sex that you cannot offer. Okay. And a lot of these people die so fast.
Good evening to everyone in the studio. Why is it that everyone is saying men are the ones that cheat a lot in most relationships? On my own point of view, both sexes cheat equally, because a man doesn't cheat with another man. He cheats with another woman. That means if 50 men cheat, they cheat with 50 women. So everything is equal. It's equal. Ramirez is writing from Douala. Greetings, men. Men who die young are those who are not loving and caring. Those who don't know the value of women. Those who cause emotional stress on women. When your wife is not happy or satisfied with you, you die young. Pamela is writing from Bokwango in Boya. Good evening to everyone in the studio. My own opinion on why men die young is due to over hard work during their young age, smoking, and also consuming hard drinks, which are not good for the system. Okay, good evening, Mr. Liu and everyone in the studio. It's Ngonga Nerissa from Douala. I love your program. More grace to you. Thank you very much, Nerissa. Good evening, Mr. Liu. For me, women kill rich men more than poor men. So poor men live longer. ALFRED writing from Kumba. Women don't kill, please. That's not what we're talking about. Good evening, Mr. Liu. In line with what Apostle AMBE said, men are the people who are involved in all risky jobs and thus reduces their lifespan. For instance, a story building that collapsed and killed about 20 men. Tabi Joseph is writing from Yaoundé. Good evening to you. Tabi, hello Mr. Leo and the panelists. Thank you guys for this loving program. This is Mr. NG from Yaoundé. I just came back from work and the level of welcoming from my loving fiancée made me to wonder why, and she whispered to my ears that, Asha darling, on asking why such treatment, she told me what she heard from Mr. LEFOR, that she just realized how hardworking I have been. Tear almost ran down my cheeks. So, so I must say your program has a great impact in the lives of many. I feel refreshed after such loving touches, and now I want to believe she will keep doing that. I know she's watching in the parlor, and if she hears you read this, she will know I said this. But I just want to say thank you guys for such educative program. We're glad to hear such testimonies. If the program is touching you, share with us. I would like to read and share with the world what you're learning from us. But let's take a listen to Mme ASANJI YVETTE from Bomenda.
Okay. Mr. Leo, I'm coming back to the one that I know most men will hide behind to tell you that that's the reason why they die early, which is that of emotional and marital stress. Yeah, most men do have emotional and marital stress. And sometimes you cannot really say the fault is a woman's fault. Because, like a quote probably said, no woman gets married, hoping to be bad. But sometimes the lifestyle of the man pushes the woman to be bad. I know some men will say I'm kind of feminist here, but that's true. I want us to look at it like blatantly. Most men have emotional and marital stress. Where is this stress coming from? How do men keep, women 1, 2, 3, 4? Some go as far as having children, those 2, 3, 4 women, and at the end of the day, tell me how you're not gonna die emotional stress. You're sleeping, you're really thinking of this other woman can call you, and you have heart palpitation, you don't want your wife to see, this other side want to call you from left and right, no. At the end of the day, you see that women are not even naturally the cause of this emotional and marital stress. Some men push themselves into it. Having numerous side chicks, having numerous women, keeping them left and right. Having stress, this one is bringing their own stress, this one is bringing their own. Tell me the kind of energy that you have that you can satisfy 4, 5, 6 women. Sex takes energy. Yeah, sex takes energy. The kind of energy that you put in to have sex with A, have sex with B, have sex with C, have sex with D, you are reducing your lifespan. Maybe we should tell women this upfront. Yes, we should tell them. You can't be sleeping around like a dog and expect to live long. I'm not saying that there are women that doesn't sleep around. There are women that sleep around. But the truth is, you see that most of the men that cheat, they waste a lot of energy. I don't want to talk about finances, resources, and other things. No. But you can't live this way and then still expect to live long. Let's say you go to A, you take a chlamydia. You go to B, you take gonorrhea. You go to C, you take syphilis. At the end of the day, all of this piles on you and it's eating you up. And some men will not go to the hospital. They don't like hospital. So when they die, they will all put it back on the woman and say the woman is the fault.
Mme ASANJI, this is a direct threat to men.
I'm telling you, they don't like hospitals.
Hey.
But that's true.
Yes, Apostle LEFOR, yes. The question is, most of us, the men, we sit in beer parlors and we say, child, the woman will kill me with stress. We say that every day.
Yes.
But the same persons who said this woman go kill me with stress are going after 5. It means you want stress from 5. How do we reconcile this?
I think it's the irony. It's the irony of life. It's like people who smoke. Are they blind? They write there very clear. In fact, the government insists that they write there boldly.
Yes.
Tobacco is dangerous. It dangerously affects your health. It's there. They know it. They know about the coughs. They know about the blackening of the lips. They know about all of these things. But you see people who smoke 1 packet, 2 packets. I think somebody can also get addicted. It's addictive. Power is addictive because sometimes some people womanize for power, for the feel of it. There's also that like they say, the biological because like they say polygamist nature in the men and all of that. And the Apostle Alfred has also highlighted some very powerful points which I would not really like to repeat. He is very good at that already, but let me say this. The truth is sometimes these men are doing it for explorative reasons.
They explore for 30 years.
Well, okay, for example, now let's put a balance to it. Let's talk about a rich man and a poor man. Now, a rich man has so many temptations. You know, a rich man, let's say there are people that giving a girl 500,000 is like giving somebody 5,000. This is true.
That's true.
And for that girl, you have done the world. Maybe that a girl who has grown up has never seen that kind of money. A man just come, just say, hey, take this for your transport, and that's 100,000 francs. There are women who will kill it. They will put their head and say, enter any available hole that they have. Even if the ear. This is the reality. And some of these kind of things, men sometimes are explorative. But now, sometimes these men want to, how can I put it, adventure. There's also adventure. There's also adventure. Like he said, some people at home, there are many rich men that can pay a girl, not even necessarily for the sex. Sometimes they just want the girl to hang around them, play with them, and all of these kind of things. Now, but to answer your question, sometimes there's the bad thing is some poor people, also people who are striving to start businesses, still enter into this trap, and that's the kind of concern we are concerned. You will see a person who has not been able to take care of a girlfriend, or who is struggling to start a business, but is trying to siphon all of this money to do this, something we call indiscipline. Most of the time, it comes from somebody who is not focused. Look, I will tell you this, Mr. The truth is there are many non-born again or non-Christians who go far in life because they can discipline themselves. Let's be very honest about this. And one of the things that can make you discipline yourself is purpose, knowing where you are going to. I always say this, that a lot of times I used to drink quite a lot, like quite a lot. When I was growing up, we would sit in the bars with my friends. When I just came to the university, like we would drink like we have the town. Now, when I discovered myself, where I was going to, it's not because I'm a pastor. I always explain this because sometimes people will be like, no, not because I'm a pastor. No, anybody who knows me knows that I'm not doing anything to please anybody. It's not because of a title. There's a sense of worth. There's a sense of, let me say, focus that can help you eliminate these things. Most of the times, people are complaining, but they don't really want a solution. It's the same thing like how some women complain about some things, but they're not complaining because they want a solution. We hear a lot of people say, they can't be bad, but how many people are actually taking steps to bring a change? So it's the same thing. I think sometimes people are just complaining, but they are not reflecting. They are not accessible, because when you know where you are going to, sometimes a person avoids many girls just because they discover that this thing is my money. Hi, and I need the money to do this thing. That alone can make somebody do that. But sometimes you hear these people, like you said, they'll see the bar, the woman demo, they go finish me, and they still have 3, 4, because sometimes some people cannot control their appetite. There are so many reasons that can that can happen with that. Indiscipline, the adventure.
The lesson here is if you overeat, you could
constipate.
It could also cause some health hazards in your life.
Yes.
So if you over-womanize also, you should know that there are repercussions, there are consequences.
Anything in excess.
So some people think that the only exception is womanizing.
No, anything in excess. That is a very, anything in excess. Alcohol, food, That's why they call it gluttony.
Even sleep.
Sleep, sex, anything in excess is an issue.
Okay, it's an issue, Madam, for seeing that. But do you also believe that some women push some men to commit suicide? Because, for example, we're talking about the case that you sponsor now. You sponsor a girl through ENS to the University of Woya, only for her to come and say that this man is my level. And then some are also very demanding because they want to meet up with. They see Madame Fortinglet is talking on TV, well dressed, putting on a good watch, and they want to do that. I shared something in our forum today where you see the man went out, bought this. The woman says, I need it. The next day, the man bought a set of chairs. The woman says this. Are some men also going through this?
Men are actually going through this, Mr. Liu. There are a lot of men suffering out there because of the pressure. The pressure that comes from demands from women. And that is what will push so many of them in their quest and struggles to meet up with these demands, even against their efforts, against their energy, against their ability. You see them die before it is their time. Our world today, you know, our generation today is so, I don't know, we're getting more different from our mothers. In the days of old, we grew to see our mothers struggling. They'll bring the food from the farm to support the father while he tries to get the fee. They even go sell some of the food and then go and they give their husbands to add the money and do what he wants to do. That's when they have a little, they can assist their husbands. And the demands of women, I'm going to say it again. I said it last time and somebody was like, the demands of women nowadays is really very critical. You know, many things are coming up. Every woman wants to be that modern girl. You want to be that modern. No man wants to stay behind. No man wants to be left out of the scene. And that's the reason why I just read a story where a girl stabbed a young man to death in Yaoundé because the man refused giving her money. You know, when you want to find out why that quest for money, they want to be seen and heard. They want to feel the modern girl like. They want to wear the things they see big women put on. But you forget to understand that before you see a woman wearing what she's wearing, she has been working for so many years to be where she is today.
It's taken 15, 20 years.
Yes, it has taken her so many years. It has taken her a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of investment to be where she is. But you just get up and you want to meet up. You don't know the sacrifices that she has put in place. You don't know what she has done. You don't know the investment she has. You don't know what she's doing to put on, to wear that Brazilian match on her hair, to put on the makeup she has, and all of those. Because funny enough, women, this money they're looking up for, most of them is not to build mansions. It's not to open companies. It's not to open up businesses. It's to use this money to make themselves for egoism, for themselves. You eat, you buy clothes, you want to buy the latest shoe in the market, you want to buy the latest clothes. Women, please, it's often said that you cut your coat according to the size of your material. Before you got married, and while you're married, you know what your husband does. You know his financial situation. For the men that are open enough, you know if you can achieve something, acquire something. You people are working to attain a goal. Stop frustrating. When you start frustrating a man, when we start frustrating because of the too many demands, and you cannot even help. Because most of these women, I'll say again, the women that are extremely demanding are women that do not know how to work money. I will say it again. Women who do not know how to work money, they don't know how to toil out there to have what is theirs. They call their own money. They are extremely demanding.
See lazy man.
Yes, they are extremely. If you see a woman who works day in, day out, she is busy. She's busy out there trying to look for something to support her household. She's thinking about her future. She's thinking about her children. She's thinking about assisting her husband so that they can together achieve purpose. That
kind of woman does not really have time for frivolities. She does not really go after a lot of demands. But you see a woman who just sits, she does not know how to bring home 5,000 francs at the end of the month. She does not know what it means to carry cocoyam on your head and take to the market and sell. This category of women are extremely, in fact, they are dangerous to men. Because those are the women, the kind of women that will drive a man crazy. He will work his ass buying mesh, work his ass buying her body lotion is 50,000 francs CFA, her powder is 30,000 francs CFA. She does not know the pain it takes to work the money. That is why she cares less when she has to spend it. So I would advise men, if you are married to a woman who is not doing anything, do everything to ensure she does something she can assist you. When a woman starts working and knows how difficult it is to work the money, she will know how to save and how to help you. A lot of men out there. I just spoke with a man 2 days ago. That man actually came to my home and explained what he's going through right now with his wife. I felt so sorry. You see a man at his early 40s, he's looking 60. This is a man who basically do everything to provide for him. And then the wife just sits there, wait for him to bring. He goes farming, he's a bike rider, he is a farmer, he does very terrible things to bring food home. But the woman, even to assist the man in the farming, she is not doing anything. She will not go to the farm with the man. The man will go. He explained to me how he will go to the farm. He will toil, bring food home. When it is time for her, she will still go and do the harvest. Even to go and harvest the food, the woman will not go with him. There are some women like that. It doesn't mean that all women are like that, but there are some who are extremely lazy. And if you are that unfortunate man who falls in the hands of this kind of a woman, please, it's either you teach her how to look for the money herself, or you take very good care of yourself. Be educated and have sense. Know that this thing I'm doing, it's driving me into my grave. I will die early if I don't do something about it.
How do you solve such a case?
It's either you get the woman to get something doing.
And if she refuses? Send
her for counseling. Sometimes send her to be counseled. Some of these women do these things out of ignorance. Just try. Maybe take her to a counselor.
Apostle Ambe, I remember a case that came to you. You counseled them and when they were leaving the office, they continued with it. You said the woman was waiting.
So making the man like this. Like that.
Apostle, we are talking about ourselves. We are all men here.
Of course.
We pray. Okay, we are all men and women here.
I'm not a feminist.
And a woman. Okay, this thing concerns also.
Yes.
Are you also aware that two people wrote to me, I think that was last month, that they feel cheated by their children, that they are the ones who invested so much in preparing for their OH in their children, and that the children are now well-to-do, but they focus more on taking care of their mother than the father who actually sponsored them through.
Yes, Mr. Leo, their mother did not do her homework very well. The women are naturally attached to the children because they spend more time with the children. The woman I call is a person that fed the past generation and is feeding the future generation. Because the man who is a past generation breastfed from the woman, and the children who are the future generation they still breastfeed from the woman. If children grow up tomorrow and have no acquaintance or attachment to their father, then their mother should be held responsible. Because every woman is the one to educate the children. That the school fees you see like this, your father who paid it. Men will definitely don't give school fees to children. They will give it to the mother. For instance, I don't give my children school fees. I give them to their mother. I give their uniform money to their mother, their shoes. Like now their mother went to the market and bought their uniform. And when the mother came and said, Mama has bought us, I didn't say anything. I don't come and begin to wrestle my position in the house. It is the mother who tell that it is your father who has bought this thing, giving the children the rightful place of the man in the family. If the children turn out tomorrow to be too close and attached to their mother better than their father, and then the mother did not do her homework. And then secondly, when children get mature and get married, It's obvious that when they put to bed, it is their mother that normally visits. Men don't wash napkins, they don't change diapers, they don't clean the house, they don't cook food. It's a woman that rotates from place to place. So sometimes there is that distance between the father and the children, right from the day of growing up and even when they get mature and give birth. So there is a close attachment between the mother and the children. But the mother's responsibility is to make sure that she constantly educates the children to understand that what people are today is the responsibility of the father. Sometimes it gets complicated if the mother is the one who is suffering to raise the children while the man is very irresponsible. It gets somehow complicated because there are very irresponsible men that will sit and not bother to take care of their children. The woman is doing her petty businesses, the children graduate, support each other, and then when they stand tomorrow and they give their father a distance, that is a different case altogether. And there are many scenarios like that. That's a different case altogether. But it is still the woman's responsibility to tell them that despite your father's bad behavior, your father remains your father. So you should not neglect your father, because there is a fatherly blessing that your father doesn't need to take care for you before he gives you the blessing. It is natural endowment by his privileged position in life and destiny. It's an office that he was not elected into. He was born and established in that office. A father remains a father. Even if he's a drunk, a blind man, a cripple, a lame, an irresponsible father, is a father. Now, when parents begin, when children get acquainted to their mother, the Lord, the father sometimes feel also jealous because he's a human being, and sometimes he gets frustrated. And all these things that causes loneliness also cause some men to commit suicide. Some die and feel like they have raised children, the children today don't want to look upon them anymore. So these things also eat men from within. Somebody can have high blood pressure. A single act or incident makes him lose his life, because high blood pressure patients don't have a specific time to die. Anything can take away their lives. So the mother must be the one to stand as a bridge, not a wall between the father and the children. How does she do it? She constantly preaches the father's goodness to the children, and then make the children to constantly visit their father. And if the mother has to go for visit, sometimes the father too has to go for visit. This thing we have coined that it's umugwo, that women have to go. You must not go anywhere your child put to bed. You can visit your children, stay there for some time, and then spend some time, then come back. So fathers should be given their place in families. If not so, it will not all go well with anybody in that family. The mother's responsibility is to take care of the children. Now, for instance, I give myself an example. I'm the outgoing person. I'm never in the house. Because why? I must make sure I put things together for everything to be in place. My wife is the one that I give money for food in the house. I give money for basic necessities in the house. I give money when she's about to, she goes to the market and buy things. When she comes back, the children will say, Mama has bought all this. I say, yeah, that's wonderful. Mama has bought it. I say, that's good. I don't come and tell them that it's me who give the money. But their mother will tell them, it's the father who give that money, yo. It's the father who give that money, yo. It's the father who give that money, yo. So we devise a means right now. When it comes to things like breakfast, it's me who give. Let them also know that Papa is also contributing in their lives. So early in the morning, she will come and go, Daddy, money for breakfast. Daddy, money for this, I will give. We are exchanging the responsibility so that tomorrow it doesn't look like Mama was the one taking care of every responsibility. But the book of experience has taught us that most parents, most fathers are neglected at their old age. And sometimes it is them who even carry the greatest responsibilities of the family. It is not supposed to be like that. So if you see men writing you, it is something that is really actually eating most fathers across the nations of the world.
Yes,
and
true.
Must be looked into seriously.
Yes.
And mothers who are listening to us, you are just a money transfer agency. You are not the source of that finances. So when they are giving that money, make sure you tell them where the money came from. Don't be a transfer agent who claims ownership of the source. Get up and tell the children that this is your dressing we bought today, is your mama who bought it. Sometimes I will give my wife money to buy children dresses, and I will attribute it to her, so that it will not look as if it is only Papa doing it. They may feel like Mama is left out. There must be an equilibrium in the responsibility. Somebody can give you money to buy drinks for the mother, just to give you an image in front of the mother. If my elder brother comes to the house, say me I'm not getting my mama to buy me. I have the money I can give to my wife. It's just to give my wife an image in front of my family. And when the mother equally comes, I'm the one that gives money to her also, in order to strike a balance on both sides. So that my brother will not go and say, huh? That's your marriage, I don't even want that. I couldn't send him one cocoa, no give me. Now my brother will never finish. That impression is what causes squabbles and brings serious rancor within family cycle. So we have to balance all these little errors to keep a very safe image for the future.
Yes.
Mr. Leo, I think I'm okay with what Apostle just said. He's perfectly correct. But I just want us to get something here. This is where men actually get it all wrong.
Okay.
Because they think that the financial responsibility of the home is them. And then the moral, the love, the caring of the children is the woman. Most men don't find time to talk with their children. Most men don't give time for their children. They don't even bother to find out how these children are growing up. It doesn't matter whether you give the money or not. Spend the money, build mansions, put them in it, give them lots of money. But if you are not there in the growth of that child, the children will not feel you. They need to feel your love as a father. The children need to know that you are around. No matter how busy a man is, I always say this. You look for time. Always take your children out of home. Stay with your children. Talk with them. Converse with your children. Let them get to know you and you get to know them. Create this cordial relationship between yourself and your children. It is not just the responsibility of the women to look after the children.
No, that's an error you are making. Nobody is saying that it is a woman's responsibility. But the man is the outgoing type. The man is the hunter. The man is the one that goes out to chase. Creating time with children is different from your daily responsibilities. That's different. You cannot come and sit in there like a babysitter. By the time you sit there 1, 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and you become irresponsible, it becomes a burden to the family.
No,
So that's different.
Understand.
Women always like to defend themselves.
No, it's not about
that's out of
they go and spoil the name of the father in front of the children. That is exactly what you're trying to do.
No, that's not.
Completely out of
What I'm
context.
saying is that
It should be
When they come to you, you'll be able to express your point.
Listen to this. That one should be completely made null and void on this platform. Completely eradicated.
That women want
Mr. Leo, who don't give attention to
the responsibility of a man.
He is saying that what you are saying is null and
It's null and void.
Marginalization. Why are you marginalizing?
It's null and void.
We want gender balance. We want gender balance.
Listen, let me clarify our audience. Please listen to what I'm saying. A man should not, and I repeat, abandon his family. But know that a man's responsibility in a family, if it is not covered, he will feel more shame and disgrace than trying to create space for people when they cannot meet the family. You sit close to the children and they tell us, Daddy, our books are finished. And then you start praying in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. That is not the responsibility of men. Men are #1 providers of families.
Okay. Do you also have the impression that there is bias towards us at OH, where children have the tendency more to be with, to provide for mommy? They have naturally that mama does not have money, and they forget. They think that because papa used to have money,
they already have
money.
money.
Yes.
That has a psychological and emotional explanation, because the people that children see constantly, they believe that they are their God. They believe that these are the people who took care of me,
who love me more.
Yes. Children don't care to know what was at the background, just like our Apostle AMBE said.
That's life.
Yes, they don't want to care who was behind. They want to care that I saw my mother struggling. That's what they will tell you. I saw my mother suffer for me. Yes, especially some of these mommy picking them. These boys who are suffering from Oedipus complex. Oedipus complex, they have an attachment to their mother.
Of course.
But some girls who have attached themselves to the fathers because the father also gives them some kind of financial input, which we call electra complex, always takes care of their father at old age. Girls, they do that most often. But the boys always concentrate on their mothers because they believe that my mother suffered alone, my mother suffered alone. That's why even when they want to choose a wife they begin to look for their mother. Instead of looking for a wife, they go and look for a mother. And then when they come and a woman cannot match up to mother, it becomes a problem. So our men, especially like we used to watch like in Nigeria, most of the women always make children to know that they are the ones to come for Mugwo.
Of course.
And when they come for Mugwo, they get all the goodies and everything, and they buy one shirt, say, give Papa one shirt, and then maybe a 5,000 to say, may Papa buy me more drink. That's what they believe that the old people should have, and some kind of things. But I believe that as technology is advancing and knowledge is increasing, a lot of youth should be able to come to realization that trying to put asunder, because I think it's putting asunder, when you try to separate husband and wife at old age because you think that mother was very good and father was bad. Because in most cases, like I used to tell my wife, I said, look, when I shout at my daughter, please don't intervene. Don't call her behind and tell her something different, because you are putting another impression in her head to think that daddy is bad. I am hitting hard because there is that masculine figure that must be at home. That particular strength, that hard part of it, that must be at home in order to put balance and to put things in place. But mothers used to think that maybe the fathers are hard and because that they don't love their children. Now, you who love children a lot, how many did you see running back to the streets? Many times, women have allowed children to become spoiled. Most of the criminals, the bandits and all, single motherhoods, they send their children to the streets because they want to make others bad because they try to correct the child, and you who don't hit hard, they see you like their God. So I call on this. I am still saying this because many men are suffering today. They have never crossed Boya or they have now crossed Douala to go abroad, but their wives has gone about 3-4 times, and they are going abroad every day and coming back. Yes, and when they come back, they bring one box of clothes. They tell say this one, I'm going back again. I'll be going back this thing. And because of that, children also exploit their parents, their mothers, because the mother think that she's very smart. So what the children do is that when the wife put to bed, they say, Mama, can't take care. It means you took care of your child and also going to be taking care of grandchild, because they don't want to spend time taking care of grandchild. Okay, you were there to take care of them. Now their own wives, they don't want their wives to stay around to take care of their own children. Now it is mama that will also come and take care of the grandchildren. Now to the mother, she thinks it's a plus. But to me, I think it's not a plus, because the mother was supposed to be spending time with the husband at their old age. Taking care of the husband, showing love to the husband, maybe cooking food and all the like for the husband, but instead she spends time taking care of grandchildren, making the wife of your child not able to take care of the child. And at the end of the day, what happens? Children grow up without even have the feeling of their own mother, because grandma has already taken what most homes. Yes, most homes now you only hear of grandma. Grandma is the one taking care of them. Where are the mothers? Because they are going to look for money too. But grandma was there before, providing for their own children. That's why they became who they are today. So trying to say that a woman will be engineering the children against the husband, which also makes some of these men to die early. Because when they turn and they look at it and they see that, no, my wife has turned the children against me. My wife turned the children against me, saying funny things about that. They are punished a bad man. They are father this, so this. Especially when she's hurt. Some of these women, when they are hurt, they transfer these hurts to the children, making them to know that as you see like this one, I need to talk with your pa. And the children also begin to grow up with that kind of behavior and those kind of things. So I believe that women should take it as a responsibility to balance their homes. At old age, you are supposed to spend time with your husband and not with your grandchildren.
For example, you are a mother who has two children who are pregnant in same year out of the country.
Yes.
You go to the
this one in Germany.
You spend 3 years and 2 months. After that, you move to the US.
They don't spend months; they spend years.
And that is here alone.
That is alone.
And if the old mother won't be alive.
He just begin to go to Bangalore and begin to go to this place. That is what is happening. That's what is happening. A woman go and stay in America for 3-4 years and then come back wearing jean trouser. One old woman will be wearing jean trouser and then they make it to
pull over even there's no snow.
And then she comes, she gets her own room. She don't go to daddy's room because she's now a senior colleague.
And she's talking with her nose.
You understand? So that's the kind of thing we are
talking with her nose.
Okay. All our women should stay with their husbands so that they can grow together, they can live together and pack this world together. than to be going to stay with grandchildren and abandoning your husband, making him to die early and die fast, which is not a good thing.
Which is not a good thing. We are going to get the last intervention of Mme ASANJI YVETTE from Mme. I don't know whether she's going to be telling us what should be done to change the tide for men to live longer.
Mr. Leo, you also see that men take a lot of risk, which most often you see, you can see that kind of risk in their very detrimental lifestyles. They smoke to excess, they drink to excess, you know, sometimes they even drink, get drunk, and they are driving. So you can see that all of this is detrimental. It's detrimental. We have women that drink, we have women that also smoke. But when I'm talking about smoking, you see some men smoke 2 packs of cigarette a day. In fact, every after 30 minutes or 1 hour at most, there's a stick of cigarette in the mouth. Tell me how you're going to live long. Some of them, their lungs have already been eaten up and they are black in nature. So this kind of risky lifestyles, all of this put together, it reduces a man's lifespan. But if a man has to, you know, take care of himself, you know, we see how men can live longer. We depend on God, but there are things that men can also do to see how they can live a bit longer, which is personal hygiene. I want to start with that. Please, bathe. Even some husbands, you pass beside some husbands, you begin to ask yourself, does this man have a wife? How do they live for one bed? Bathe. Clean yourself, be clean. Avoid anything excess. Avoid it. Avoid keeping numerous side chicks. They are draining you. They are draining you. Your lifespan is reducing. Avoid working too much without resting. Rest is needed. Every human being needs to rest. You have a burnout, you have a breakdown if you work all the time and you don't rest. In as much as you are work conscious, also have time to rest. Even pastors too should rest. Yes, I want to mention pastors because sometimes pastors behave like, you know, they are second Jesus. We are all human beings. Don't walk yourself all through. Learn how to rest. Don't pray for people and you are feeling really tired and exhausted. You still want to continue. There will always be people that need prayers. Do what you can do and leave the rest to God. Don't go and fast and fast and fast and fast. Fast and sometimes take time to eat and eat balanced food. Take good care of your health, and by the grace of God, I know you can live long.
You can live long. Yes, you are itchy to come in.
Yes. Thank you. I really want to talk about this balance. You know, I had never really known that this thing was so rampant until I saw it the other day. I saw it manifested the other day in my home. I visited my dad. I visited my dad and my mom. So when I visited them, because I came to show them something. So when I came to show them, as my tradition is, when I show them, I don't always leave them like that. So when I did that, I said, okay, you know, my parents cannot bless me. Let me give them some envelopes, you know, like a tradition. So I gave my dad an envelope, and I gave my mom an envelope. You know, I say, don't come empty-handed for this blessing. So immediately I gave that, my dad said, let me weigh that one for mommy. Man, see whether which one he will pass. You know, immediately when he reacted like that, then I began to laugh. He was in his mind. He was like, I hope that this one is not heavier than this one. But anyway,
because even what you have given to Daddy, they still end up.
Who did he give the eyes?
Okay, so they were all in envelopes. Now my point is this: when I saw this, it's also something I have personally worked on this, written about it, and counseled, especially to parents, and because I grew up and I know what it feels like. Children get attached to parents who they think provide for them.
Yes.
It's very normal. A child will always appreciate a person who gives to them. That's why you see they used to like some special uncles. When there are some uncles that when they come, picking a shit for room. There are some that if they announce that they are coming 2 weeks, they are waiting at the door. Now, generally, children love people who give. And I discovered, like Apostle Alfred, I want to really hit hard on this. Most women transfer their anger, their pain, their resentment, their negative energy to their children towards the men. And you will see from a little child, a mother begins to explain the fault of the father to the child. Now, even when the child has not understood, is not yet even speaking, dear Papa Deso, you don't see her no. That big head. Sometimes they even say the child like, see, I have big like Papa. You know, all of this kind of things. These are things that happen, and I discovered that many women don't know that they have the responsibility. The truth is, my work, and that's the reason why, if I need a wife who will not just be, but who will also be able to handle. I knew that I'm outgoing. There's a lot of work. Sometimes in 1-2 weeks, I might be in and out of the country. Now, I come back the least time, and that's why I don't play my Mondays, I spend time. But you cannot begin to say that, like he said, that the father will be around like the mother. It's impossible. And sometimes when they come, they are tired due to that pressure, and they might even want to rest. The mother has a strategic role to make these children see that this man's outing is for our good. The man's absence is not because he does not care. In fact, we are enjoying all of these things because this man is hardworking. It changes perspective. Also, there are families where the woman is a breadwinner. Sometimes I've always said this, even in shouting at children. I told my wife, and I always train people, I said, even the shouting, exchange the roles. Because children have the tendency to feel that the person who shouts more does not love them. Yes. And in some homes, it might be the dad. In some homes, it's the mom. There are some dads that don't know how to shout. So when the mother shouts, the father is there to say, come. In some homes, when the father shouts, the mother is there saying, come. And sometimes it can communicate a wrong idea. Sometimes my wife will shout at my daughter, and the daughter will rush and come to me. And I say, what do you want me to do? Go and listen to your mom. Now, there's a balance. Now, and then at the same time, even in gifting, make a balance. You who's always giving, like, let me say, like the father or the mother, make a balance. Sometimes when a child really needs something, say, mommy, give me piano, mommy, give me piano, mommy, give me piano, mommy, give me piano. The dad can buy that piano and express the love. Oh, daddy, I want bicycle. Daddy, I want bicycle. Though the dad has the money for bicycle, the dad can give the mother the money and the bike. Sometimes these balances will bring this love. But we should never forget that biologically, a child, the mother has an advantage. Because the mother breastfeeds the child, and almost psychology, they will tell you almost everything you are was framed in the first 10 years of your life. And this is the advantage women have. Women are close to the child in that old age, in that young age. So they communicate a lot of things that even though the child might not remember what verbatim is in their subconscious. And I want to end with this. For most men start coming in. Children start looking up to the fathers, but at an adolescent age, when they start looking for a father figure and all of those things. So yes, when they start looking out for heroes. So women have a tendency to point these children at an early age to the fatherhood of that man. It will help that man live long.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu and the panelists. I don't want to comment on this topic because a lot of women will say it's bias, but men undergo a lot of pressure that tend to kill them. As a result of cardiac arrest, a true African man can marry 5 wives, but a man will not stand it seeing another man on his wife. Prince Nzikum, writing from Sweden. Good evening to you. Esther from Kumba says, hello, Mr. Leo. Good evening, and to you all in the house. Mr. Leo, very educative program. My own opinion is men are too exposed to danger. Good evening to you. Success, writing from Kribi, says, good evening, Mr. Leo. Men are stressing themselves too much. One woman, one problem. Two women, two problems, plus side chicks. The only category of women who send their husbands to early death are those who are liabilities to their husbands, who leave all the responsibilities to the men, stresses them a lot, and so push them to the early graves. Good evening to you. Success out there in Kribi. We hope Kribi is treating you well also. Michaelson, writing from Yaoundé, says, good evening, Mr. Leo. Please read all my message. Some women push their husbands to die because they want to the property of the man and be in control of everything. That's why most of them force the men to sign court marriage or certificate before they die, because most of them know their husbands are going to die before them. Michaelson is writing from Lagos in Nigeria. Okay. Let the lady from Bermuda know that she's talking to thousands of men out here. She has to take and treat the, okay, you do not come on air and tell how men smell, okay? Remy, writing from Jamena in chat. Remy, please, can you write to me after this program so that I can save your number. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm Derek for writing from Gudron Bange. Okay, just around where we are. Douala. Summarily, it is naturally clear that men were made to struggle for the family while the women repair and maintain them. Men die young in marriages because women have abandoned this responsibility. We should not agree to the idea that women have longer lifespan, because that will mean using a conclusion to support an introduction. We all know that a conclusion is reliable instead when drawn from the introduction. Okay. Great job to you and your team, Mr. Lee. I want to think that what men do daily and what they eat to an extent contributes to their early death. This death rate is high in cities than in rural areas due to lifestyle. As such, we must watch what we eat daily and also development the stamina to manage stress, especially at home and at your job site. Dr. AMBE Moses, writing from Yuba, University of Bamenda. Good evening to you, Doctor. Hello, I'm Jeanette from Yaoundé. I accept the fact that men do work more than women. Most married women go out more than some ladies. You will see a married woman with married men when I'm not married. Haha. Okay? Yes, Jeanette thinks that the cheating is both ways, not only for the men, like some people are saying out there. Oops. No. Do you also believe that you, the ladies, you take better care of yourselves to say that you live well? When you look at the man, at times, especially those who are not well to do, you see the mother is good looking and the father is always shabby, poorly dressed, and that there is need for men to take that conscious decision to also start taking good care of themselves, feeding themselves very well.
Yeah, Mr. Leo, that's for... There are two things here that I want to look at. Women who are very self-centered and irresponsible. Because when you are getting married, they say the two have become one. And I often tell young girls, when you're getting married, you're not getting married to a man. You're not asking yourself what this man will give me or what this man can do for me. What I should be able to do for this man or what I can be able to give this man. So if there is any woman in her right senses who is married and she takes better care of herself than her husband, then she has serious problems. She needs to be cancelled. She has problems. Every woman's priority before the children start coming and even after is your husband. The man is your responsibility. Remember that this man has left his entire household. He has left his mother. They say a man shall leave his mother and his father and be hooked to his wife, and the two shall become one. This man is no longer with his mother who will ensure that he eats on time, his mother who will buy clothes for him, his mother who will check after his health, his mother who will check after his well-being and all of that. This man is now entirely in your hands. And it is your responsibility to ensure that you follow up and ensure he dresses well. Because what your man looks out there represents you inside. When this man fits well and look good, it is your pride as a woman. When your man goes out strong, healthy, in good health, it is your pride as a woman. So any woman who take care of herself first before her husband, this woman is in deep shit. I remember sometimes my husband used to ask me, "Hey, what's wrong with you? When you want to buy, you keep buying for me and the kids, and you don't even think about yourself." Sometimes I'll tell him that if you think that I need something, then you just do it. Because me now, I'm sitting here, my priority is you and my children. And some mistake most women do is that when children start coming into the picture, they forget about their husbands, and their attention is directly tilted towards the children. They forget that the man, the ones have been taking care of the man, they look after his undies, they look after his health, they are fully concentrated on the children, and they forget about the man. That man is still your responsibility, and he is your priority. Because if he falls out there, you become the widow. If the man is dirty out there, the world will mock at you, the woman. So if you have children that start coming into the picture, we are not denying that you should not take care of the children. This man should be your responsibility. Because as it has been said, the men are outgoing. He's thinking about bringing money. He's thinking about that contract. I want to win this contract. I want to rush there. Most times, they don't even have that time to think, now let me rush into a shop and get a dress for myself. That time is not even there, because they are trying to catch up with so many things at the same time. They have their family to cater for. They have the immediate household, you, the children. They have their mom, their dad. They have you, the in-laws. They have societal demands to take care of. So most men don't even have that time. You want to talk about men of God, they are preaching from one seminar to the other, one church program to another one. That time is not there. It is your responsibility as a woman to ensure that your man is well catered for. You take care of his basic needs, his dressing, his upkeep. And Mme ASANJI is talking about some men that are dirty. Yes, some men can just be dirty, but women ensure that your man is not the dirty type. No matter how hard it is, no matter how difficult, there is no man, I've often said it, a submissive wife, you can tame even the most difficult man. If it is that difficult, there are techniques you can always take. He keeps his job coming, you have washed them. He will not go out with a dirty dress. When he comes, you flatter and ensure that he gets into the bathroom and takes his bath. There is a way you can always cause him to take care of himself before he walks out there, so that they shouldn't call him a smelling and a dirty man. Any man, I'll say, any man that goes out there who is married and he stinks, he is dirty, the woman is dirtier than he is.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I think the men die fast because they are involved in a lot of work to fend for the family. Their frivolous lifestyle is also a fast course. Men are very adventurous, and this makes them fall into danger. Mo is writing from Yaoundé. Good evening to you, Mo. Madame Evelyn, writing from Bamenda, says, good evening, Mr. Liu. My biology teacher taught me that every one time a man ejaculates, 2 seconds of his life is reduced. So those men who take sex as food will have the consequences. So, oops, this one is harder. Excellent program, Mr. Liu. One other reason African men die before their wives is because of the age gap. When a man marries a woman 20 years younger than him, he is naturally predisposed to check out before her. To confirm this perspective, Mr. Liu, carefully examine your female primary school mates. Most of my female classmates look 10 years older than I. However, it is rare to marry your classmates, so if you marry a younger one, it is obvious who would die first. Terry is writing from Clark's quarters. This is Tar Rogers from Boya. My brother, there is something in life. If you want to sit under the tree for shelter at old age, then you should plan one at your younger age. So if you don't prepare yourself, you will face a lot of problems. in the future that may result to death. Okay. Tiku Felix says, good evening, Mr. Liu. Only men who don't talk a lot, who are not joyful, and who in their time of full force don't interact with people die early. Self-centered men are never joyful at old age, does die early. Men who play with children a lot don't die early because even in their old age, they measure like them and add their days. Praiseful men with joyful hearts don't create problems and are good problem solvers, always ready to say sorry and let go. They don't die early. Mr. Liu, the role of the woman in the house too has a lot to play with creating a pressure-free environment for the man. Tiku Felix, good evening to you out there in Boya. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Why some men die early in marriage? Most monogamous marriages, the men die early. The issue of joint property affects the marriage in many ways. The women take it as an advantage that you can't marry another woman. B, Mr. Liu, women you sign a monogamous marriage is more careful and very respectful because she's aware that you can go for another woman if she doesn't play her role well. You see, third, the issue of sex is not a job that you must do it harder. It should be done with respect. Men, my advice is don't mind women of what they think and do to you. Imagine you telling your wife that I love you till I die. Then you yourself have killed yourself before time. Remember the apple story in the Bible, what the woman discussed with the devil, men don't know about it till date. She gave you the apple and you ate. If marriage certificates had an expiring date like a driver's license, most men will not renew. Nango Maurice, man for grown, writing from Opa Munya. My friend, glad to read from you. You heard what she said. Women must take care of the men. But do you think that us, the men, we need to also start thinking of taking care of ourselves?
You see, the error sometimes we make is that we feel like our wives are our mothers.
Mm-hmm.
When a woman becomes your mother, most men run away from their mother to marry a woman they can control. They didn't get married to another mother to control them. When you keep telling me that, have you eaten? At my age, you be telling me that I have eaten. When a woman becomes too inquisitive, too controlling.
No, I think it's care. They think that is care.
That is not care.
Yes, it's not care.
It's not.
Yes.
Because I will sit in my office and the one will call me, have you eaten? At my age. I don't know when to eat and what to eat. Have you eaten? When are you coming to the house? You don't rest. You never rest. Listen to me. You become a burden to that man. A man just ran away from the mother who would tell him, past can't sleep. Time for chop don't reach. You don't wash. Usa you day. He cannot marry another mother. Most men get married and they are delivered from the motherhood of their mother and they enter now into fatherhood in controlling their wives and their children. A man who cannot take care of himself is not a man. What of a man who is not married? If a man has to be catered for by a woman, there is an age you enter into. You have to know what you need and what you do not need. This one that a woman is taking care of a man of 40 years old, then the man should be given diapers. The man should be given diapers to walk around the street because he's no longer a man. That's the truth. A woman is like a kind of, how do I put it? It's a kind of eye that she may see what you do not see. She should stop seeing what you see. What you don't see, let her help you see it.
Yes.
What you see, she should not add the seeing. Because if she starts seeing what you are seeing, it becomes a burden. And some men sometimes feel suffocated and uncomfortable when a woman almost wants to tell them everything to do, even the basic things to do.
So many questions.
You keep asking questions. What about this? What about this? And then women are fond of bringing one topic 15 times. I mean, they will tell you in the morning about the tailor. In the afternoon, they will call you and say, I don't bring the tongue, don't talk now. Talk what?
They will not talk and this is not finished.
And then sometimes when you neglect it, it becomes a serious problem. That can even cause the two of you not even great for some few minutes. And bring it in that can help the family. What does tailor got to do with family? They keep repeating the same thing over and over. Please. A man has left the mother's house and did not get married to another mother. He got married to a one that can control, that he can control, not the one that can control him. So when you want to propose some things to your man, propose tangible ideas that can take the family forward, not on basic things that a man knows he can do. Before I got married to you, I could brush my teeth.
Yeah, but what if the man is stubborn, does not bathe, does not... But have you also taken note that you see most of our mothers are well, they look good, they take care of themselves, and the men are so shabbily dressed and they don't even look well fed.
Mr. Leo, let me give you a simple scenario. Me and my wife can be in a room. The way women are wired there, they are wired to look at themselves. The way men are wired, they are wired to look at the family. A woman will sit with you in a room, see her face through the mirror, make everything. You enter in the car, she still open that mirror on the car like that.
Can you imagine?
And still look at herself. And then you will reach the church or somewhere you are going, she opens her back and remove the third mirror. As if the face she saw in the room, the one they saw in the car before reaching the church has changed. That is their nature. A man will sit here and think of, the rents are getting closer. The children's school fees are getting closer. Sometimes he's lost with the burdens of the family that it is even sometimes difficult for him to look at himself. It is not dirtiness. When I hear sometimes people sit and say men are dirty, women are dirtier.
Apostle.
Not insulting anybody, I'm telling you.
Apostle.
There are girls that will wear their best and walk in the street. If you enter where they are sleeping, is swine fence. I'm telling you, environmental nastiness. And if an environment is dirty, 90% is a woman's responsibility.
Yeah, but we are talking about us, the men.
I'm talking about the men, that the men is the family men conscious. Their responsibility is, a woman does not sleep and think rent. She doesn't sleep and think school fees.
Not all women.
I'm telling you that there is an exception to every rule.
Okay.
Out of 100%, at least 80% of the men are family conscious. And because of this responsibility, sometimes they get lost. A few men who are supporting their family, they will sit and talk. But in most cases, most of the men are the ones that carry the burdens of the family. Everyone can testify to that.
Okay. Apostle,
that's the truth.
Isinger, do we also need to regularly teach our sisters and mothers to be able to bear us, the men, when times are difficult? Maybe we have accidents, we lose our jobs, and in times of difficulty, many men are pushed to the early graves. The respect is no longer there.
It's so serious. It's so serious, my brother. It's very, very serious. I was thinking the other day that maybe I'm going to buy my own coffin and keep, and then dig grave somewhere and keep. But that I should be at least see where I'll be buried or some kind of things. Because I'm talking, when I look into the way people treat others when people die, some kind of things, the way people treat others while they are alive, and why you see others treating others when they are dead, is so miserable, so miserable. So it makes me to begin to say that there are some things you should prepare as a man while you are alive. Take care of yourself. Try to see how to buy good food for yourself. Don't try to go for the cheap food. Go for good food. A lot of men don't even know that some of the expensive food may not be good food. They may just be junk food. So they go for 8. So our sisters and our mothers and our friends or those who are around us should be able to help us in many ways. Number one, don't ask us many questions, because some of those questions are they disconnect you, because a man is thinking so many things at the same time. You are thinking this, you are thinking this, you are thinking this, you are thinking, because some of us were in different groups and associations and other things. We are trying to build a nation, we are trying to build a church, we are trying to build it. Then you come now begin to ask me some questions which does not even tie to what that's my fancy. Yes, you instead disconnect me and
I greeted you yesterday, the way you answered.
Yes, the blood pressure begin to pump faster. Yes, it's so funny. It's so funny. And then sometimes you see you have to come and ask somebody, have you warmed the food? Have you warmed food for me to eat? Or that, because someone like myself, I like to eat food, leftover food, not tea or those kind of things in the morning. So I eat me heavy food in the morning, like the leftover food. So if you realize that that's what gives me the strength and the energy to move on, just do it early enough. But before that time wants to come, before I want to even ask for it, it should be there. Because I think the energy I put to make the family go is so strong in such a way that I don't need to be delayed when some kind of things come up. And the next thing that our girls need to understand and our mothers need to understand, when your man is waiting for you outside when you have to come, if it takes longer, it makes the man sick. Yes, men are not patient enough to wait for you for long. By the time they start waiting for you for long, they start getting sick. And then the high blood pressure begin to pump. You may be thinking that it's something very big that will kill this man. It's sometimes your delay. As you delay him, his mind. See, a man reaches where he's going to before he gets there. A man reaches, he start planning for the thing that he getting there before he gets there. Then you not delay him, his blood pressure begin to pump. So work on the issue of time consciousness, because men are always those kind of people that are very, they want to do it faster. They want to get more early time to do it so that they can have enough time to rest. This is the kind of thing. So our girls should be able to know this. People around us in our homes, try as much as possible. When someone has the time to rest, please, even if it's a stranger or who that comes, very important, allow him to rest. Allow him to rest. Now, when he is rest, you people can book an appointment. Please come after 2 hours or come after 1 hour, but that you can be able to get him or some kind of things. But now you want to get daddy, and sometimes a man is not supposed to pick phone. When the phone is ringing and the man does not want to pick it, don't call him to come and say, your phone is ring. He heard the phone, but he decided not to pick it at that time because of what? His mind is far. He has so many other important things is coming. So when you now begin to pick phone and come and give it, he may hear something that will even kill him. Because sometimes it's phone calls that kill us. Somebody that you are owing some money somewhere, somebody that is going to ask you some rent somewhere, somebody, this person just family, something that's happened in the family this way, and then he hears it, and all the next thing is out. The other day I was planning for a sister that died in Nigeria, and they are calling for me to talk 1 or 2 things, and it was so serious, and I have to put the family together in order to gather money to put it. It was not easy. That pressure is not part of my family, it's just part of the extended family. And I have my own family issues, and I have issues of the church and the body of Christ, like Apostle AMBE, where he knows what we are going through when it comes to ministers in this nation. And we go through a lot of things. And then when it comes to family, instead for you to understand us and give us ample time to think, men love space. Men love space. Give men space. Allow them to have enough time to think or to reflect. Enough. Yes. So let. You
didn't answer my question there. My question is.
Yes.
You do a lot of counseling to our sisters. Yeah. Do you prepare them for the days when their men are going to be in accidents, broke, they lose their jobs, and this time because that is when they need the care the most. But paradoxically, that is when they get most neglected.
Yes, I think. While we don't wish for anything bad to happen, we must be pragmatic about certain things. And the practicality of all of this is not to be telling them, when your husband have accident, give him wheelchair. The practicality is building emotional intelligence, financial intelligence, because when now the man cannot walk, you will need, in fact, most of the times women's lives are shorter, women are feel frustrated when their husbands die. They start to discover they cannot do things. So if we build emotional intelligence,
financial intelligence, and we do a lot of build up, it will prepare, because sometimes even the ability to even just accept that something happened to you comes to a lot of maturity. Sometimes you freeze just by the fact that your mind cannot even accept that this has happened. That means you cannot imagine now that man I go there without 2 foot all life. You know, it takes a lot of maturity, and that is why I have sung on this platform many times. Marriage is not for the immature. You come in and understand the stakes. You come in and know that that's why we must go beyond emotions. You must understand these things. That's why we have always said that this thing is not just about the feelings, because these things that you have to remove yourself from the feelings to be able to attain certain heights. And just to mention what the man of God said here, I want to emphasize again and put my voice on this. Men love their space. In fact, anywhere I go and I am bragging, in fact, any man who has a certain kind of affection for his wife, check it very well. The wife gives him time to think.
Yes.
The wife gives him time to think. And I want to say this. There's a question women avoid asking your man. God asked it at the beginning in the Bible, and it caused man problem till today. Men don't like it. Adam, where are you? Please. Please, that's a question men don't like till today.
Pick the video call. Show me who is around you.
Yeah.
Men do that too to women.
No, it's that you discover that those are things of lack of trust and immaturity and all of that. So I want to say this, that if you come to that place where you understand that part of helping a man is giving him space to lead, giving him space to think, giving him space to be who he's supposed to be. Yes. That's the best thing you can be. And with that also, yes, and when a man also does that now for you, that's a I can call that a perfect relationship, where it's not about just everybody having a perfect moral code or everything, but we are talking about something that is complement each other and giving each other the opportunity to be who they're supposed to be. But most of the times, women try to show affections in ways they think. That's why they told women don't love, just submit. Yeah. Because women always try to do something they don't understand. Yeah. And to them, love is that calling, texting. Somebody will text you after 3 minutes. I just want to say hi and know how you're doing. After by 4 p.m. Honey, I was just thinking about you. You just disconnect the man from a flow of thought. Okay. So this is very vital.
we are out of time. Hi, Mr. Leo, please.
That's what we want.
Madam Fatinga, let me take this message. Hi, Mr. Leo, please help me. What about the man who hates the wife because he has offended his family, though she has pleaded for forgiveness for more than a year now? He does not eat, especially when she tells him the truth, but whenever this happens, he will remind her of what she has done. She has done everything for him to forgive her. He will have sex only when he feels to. He does not eat nor give food money or buy drugs when she is sick. No communication, nothing about concerns him. Just sex anytime he wants, even when she is sick, or plead that she does not want that time. Please help me. I'm dying in silence and I love my husband. Suzanne is writing from Douala. Critical case here.
You're the one that's focusing on.
Okay.
You want me to read it over?
I think I didn't get her very clearly.
You did not get her? She says she's dying. That's why I took time to read it. Hi, Mr. Liu, please help me. What about a man who hates the wife because he offended his family? I don't know what I meant. She offended his family, though she has pleaded for forgiveness for more than a year now. He does not eat, especially when she tells him the truth, but whenever this happens, he will remind her for what she has done. She has done everything for him to forgive her. He will have sex only when he feels to. He does not eat nor give food, money, or buy drugs when she is sick. No communication, nothing about her concerns him. Just sex anytime he wants, even when she's sick, or pleads that she does not want that time. Please help me. I'm dying in silence and I love my husband. Suzanne is writing from Douala here.
Okay, if I have anything to tell her, no man who truly love the wife will not forgive. one of the things about marriage is forgiveness. And when you want to forgive your spouse, you forgive from inside. Now, she's saying that she has done everything possible for the husband to forgive her. Maybe she should begin from the family that she actually hurt, the people she offended in the family. Maybe she has not yet done the basics. What is actually the fault? What crime did she commit that is beyond forgiveness, that the husband cannot forgive her to that extent? So maybe she begins from there, sort it out, make sure that one is resolved. And then if at the end of the day, the husband still cannot forgive her, let them both go for counseling. They should go for counseling and stand. There is something in that man's heart that the man has not spoken out. There is something she's yet to hear from that man. And it is until she hears that thing, she will not be able to get a solution to her problem. It's like you have headache and you're taking medicine for stomach bite. So when she knows exactly, because there is still something, if that man has not fully given in, then maybe there is still something he is holding against the woman and that he has not been able to talk about it. So maybe they should just go for counseling and let the man speak out if there is something that she's yet to do. And if that is done and the man can still not forgive her, then there is a problem. Or maybe she should get into her shows of prayers too. Let her involve, if she's a spiritual woman, let her pray. Okay. And see how she can be able to handle it in the place of prayers.
I think, Susan, you're watching us from Douala. Apostle AMBE is in Douala. Madame Fortinglet is in Douala. Apostle ALFRED is in Douala. And Apostle LEFOR Divine is in Boya. You can call us after the program. Just call. I will link you to any of them. Yeah. You can have a one-on-one with them. Yeah, Apostle, you have anything to add to that?
You see some sins also. We're just talking that the sister offended the man. We don't know the kind of offense.
She offended the man.
So
the family.
Yeah, we don't know the kind of offense. So the offense to, even if it is as bad as what, brother, try to forgive, because marriage is a union of two fools. Not to forgive us, two fools.
But this girl needs to go to the man's family to apologize.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying now. So, sister, just consider it.
But she says she has apologized 1 year ago.
To the family.
Anyway, we don't know.
Apologize to the man and not to the family.
Okay.
It is the family that has to talk to their son. He don't can talk for who don't forgive me. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. So.
Okay. Our sister Susan, can you just get to what they are saying here? Greetings to you people in the studio. Atem Christopher in Yasadwala. When you talk of men having space, it's advisable to separate bedrooms in a matrimonial. Is it advisable to separate bedroom in a matrimonial home? Okay. Good evening, Mr. Leo. A man needs time to think. What happened to 12 to 4 a.m.? Get up and think while everyone is sleeping. Janice is writing from Tuwala. Good evening to you all in the studio. Really, men need space. You can't imagine that I leave the house for business and I'm abroad discussing with business partners. That is when my wife calls, okay?
Actually,
Mr. Lee, I cherish this program a lot, and this is a normal phenomenon in my village. And as a child, I used to think it is normal. Most of these men die early in most marriages because of the stress they go through to cater for the family, especially in cases where the woman is doing nothing at all to support the family. An intellectual and a very well-to-do friend of mine advised me to get married to a learned woman who has got something doing, no matter how little it is, that can at least support the family. Can you imagine that upon all the stress that a man may be going through, the wife will just call you from home telling you that gas lighter is finished and even even 25 francs so no day to even buy a box of match. I think that to curb this situation. Wow.
And when you are still talking, is that place where you do so, and now which place will you do so, are the yes or noise?
While we conclude with this, they say no English dictionary has been able to explain the difference between the two words, complete and finished. Some people say there is no difference between complete and finished, but there is. When you marry the wrong woman, you are complete. When you marry the right woman, you are complete. When you marry the wrong woman, you are finished. And when your wife catches you with another woman, you are completely finished. And if you marry a wife who likes shopping as such, you are finished completely.
Okay, we want to thank you all who came to take part in today's edition of the program. We are going to continue this program next week, because the second part of the program has not been discussed. What should men do to live long? So we have to discuss it next week. We want to thank the production team and all of you who took time off to watch the program. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.